Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And again, if you saw my previous video, want to apologize for the delay and not filming regularly. It has been so crazy here, but I am so thankful to just have a little time now of rest and to be able to do this because I've honestly missed it so much. And in this video, I'm going to be covering a little bit of the Australia and Oceania unit study from Gather Round. If you've been following me for about the beginning of the year, you knew that I had become a Gather Round lifer, which meant that I not only bought a bundle for a whole year of PDFs, but I also got the lifer package, which was all the extras: recipe books, cursive handbooks, the extra mini unit studies, the Christmas study, things like that. And then I was also put into the group of quarterly meetings with Rebecca Spooner, the creator of Gather Round, so that we can talk about things that are working, what's not working, what would be a good like little changes, things like that, to make it better for other families in the future. And so I have come to the realization that yes, I will continue to do Gather Round Homeschool. Absolutely, I love it. But I do see now that because of just different things that God has shown me on our homeschool journey lately, there are going to be a few changes. But I do love this, and I love the way it's set up, and I just feel like there's no extra busy work that I see. We're doing only 4 days a week of school right now, so if I only get 2 to 3 lessons in a week of my unit, I'm gonna be happy with that. But we did start this. We really like it. The only thing that I've changed about this, and I probably won't have to do this in the future, so let me preface this by saying I don't think everyone has to do this by any means at all. But in my teacher's guide, I just felt like I was losing my kids during the reading portion, and I got super tired of hearing myself talk. And I talk a lot anyway, so the fact that I was getting tired of hearing myself meant I was talking a lot. So what I did after we did the first lesson was I went through and I pre-read the next couple of lessons, and I marked out what I felt like was going to be over my kids' heads, what would be really boring to them, numbers, things like that. So an example would be, this is lesson 2, so I'm going to show you in this. This is Connecting Continents, New Zealand. So you'll see right here that I've been writing things that I want to say to them. But then over here in government, it was talking about the democratic elections and, you know, the different branches of government and how Parliament works there, which I'm covering government right now with my kids, but I don't want to confuse them, and I feel like that's going to lose them in something where we're going to be studying the place, and then they're interested in the animals and things like that, where I can get them with the science of like the ecosystems and things like that. But government, population numbers, things like that, the economy there, I don't feel like a 6 and a 9-year-old need to know that, especially in the wording. So I do know this is meant for middle school and high school as well. So while if they only do 4 years of Gather Round and we go back to year 1 and start that, they'll be in completely different levels, and this will be perfect for them. But right now, for a 6 and a 9-year-old, they don't need to know that. So what I've done is I've just marked out the areas that I don't need to read to them. So you can tell that I had a good little bit right here. I had some down here. Now there's already 5 to 7 pages for each lesson in this. I had some right here, and then we left everything about the kiwi bird in this one. So sometimes I just marked out wording because I just felt like they wouldn't understand that, so I just changed it to like one basic word. And then like right here with development of military equipment and things like that, while I don't care that my kids know that, it is a part of history. I felt like them talking about how fast this machine was moving and things like that on land, and why it was unsuccessful or successful or things like that, they didn't need to know that. You know, we're just covering brief history of the North Island in this one. You know, how they helped in World War II. And then we go to famous landmarks and the ecosystem. So I marked out some of that and some of that, just so I can keep their attention and move along, and then get through the lessons with the things that they need to know, to cover projects and worksheets. But I'm not overwhelming them with so much that they're like, oh my God, I just wish she would stop talking. So while I do think this is such a beautiful unit study and I love it, that if you've got like maybe a 9-year-old and under, that may be something that you want to do if they're in the early elementary and under stage. Upper elementary, maybe, but middle school and high school, I really don't think you would have to do that. I just want to make sure that my kids are staying interested in learning, and it's not just let's get through the reading and do the worksheets, because that is something that I've really been convicted about. Like, I homeschooled to give them a completely different atmosphere than school. So that really is my only recommendation if you're looking at these unit studies from Gather Round, is that you may just want to pre-read the lesson before you cover it with your kids, just to see if there's anything that you feel like you could leave out, so that you're saving time, you don't feel overwhelmed by talking so much and then doing the worksheets. That's my only recommendation. The other one, just to have as a supplement to that unit study, which I think this is the coolest idea. I had been wanting to cover fables and things like that with my kids. I just didn't know how to incorporate it. So this gave me the perfect opportunity to just really play that up. So with Australia and Oceania, because there's so much culture and art and just history in the backgrounds of just things that they did creatively, they are adding fables into this unit study. And so what they're also doing is having your child, for their big project that month, is write their own fable. So over the course of the next 4 weeks or however long that you do this study, you will be helping your child develop characters, the plot, where they're at, what they're doing, who they're with, things like that, of a fable that they're writing on their own. So I was so excited about that. The only thing was, we hadn't covered fables really in our homeschool. So we read a fable that was covered in lesson 1. My son really enjoyed it. However, he was like, I don't really get what a fable is from, you know, one story. What are we trying to do here? And so me just explaining to them, well, you learn a lesson, you learn a life lesson from it and things like that. He was like, well, okay, but I've heard one story. I don't really know where to go from here. I happened to have this book on hand that a family member bought for me. She loved buying books for my kids. So I remember that I had this. And so we sat down that day and just read through a bunch of them in here, so that he could understand what fables were, that they use animals as the characters, and they're teaching you a life lesson during the course of the story, and they're, you know, they're short, but they make a point. So we read a few of these. We'll be continuing to do that over the course of this unit. So the only thing I would say, that if you've never read them, or have a book on hand, I would get one from the library to keep with you, or buy one like this, just to have as an example, or to give them a little more of like ideas for their fables. But I really enjoy it. I'm excited about it. I've learned a lot already through this. And the only other thing that I added, which you do not have to do this at all, was, if you saw my September unit studies video, you knew that I had already developed a true love for Stephanie Hathaway designs on Etsy. I'm embarrassed to tell you how many of these I've bought at this point. But I bought the color wheel and basics of color theory, because that is another thing that they're covering in the Australia and Oceania unit study, is color theory and things like that for art, which I was really excited about, because I happened to be looking into that on my own for myself. And then lo and behold, when I get this unit study in my email, it's incorporated in this too. So what I did, just in case they have questions, because I think this unit study was like 10 or 12 bucks and you just print it out from home, was, it's so pretty too, you guys. I bought this. I've already put it in a binder and sheet protectors, but it explains how to use it. And while this is mainly geared towards preschool, kindergarten, first grade, my son will have no problem using this as well. You can easily incorporate it for older elementary students. But it shows you the color wheel, primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, warm, cool, and neutral, complementary, triadic, tetradic, analogous, split complementary, hues, shades, tints, and tones. Explains what those mean for the older kids. And then you've got different things that you can utilize. So what I did was I just went ahead and printed everything and put it in sheet protectors, so when I need to make copies, I can just jerk it out, make a couple extra copies, and I'm not having to search for the PDF in a few years. Even though I've got it saved. But it shows you color mixing the tertiary colors. It shows you a puzzle, so it shows you here what it's going to look like, and then you make your own. There's the basic color wheel, copy work, and then this is really cool. We're going to get the pieces of felt to make the rainbow. So you'll add the big one, glue the orange one on top, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And so you'll add them on top of each other and it'll make the rainbow. And then just different things to trace and color. There were also, which I didn't bring them down here with me, it also spells out Roy G. Biv if you're working on letters and things like that, or you want to hang them in your school area to just give them that reminder. I'm so excited to use this and to save it and reference it later in the future when you can, you know, make it look this pretty with basic things that you can get from the Dollar Tree or buy online in bulk. So that's another thing that I added for the Australia and Oceania unit study. I will link Stephanie Hathaway's shop down below so that you can look at all the beautiful unit studies that she has. I just feel like she has done such a good job, and it's gonna work from my 2-year-old up to my 9-year-old. So those are the things that I've added for the Oceania study. I love this book. I don't know why I didn't read it to my kids before and get them introduced to Fables, but with the things that we're doing with it this month, I just feel like that's gonna make it really fun. So if you don't get to the worksheets one day and you just work on these projects, that's the great thing about homeschooling is skip the worksheets, read the lesson, get something out of it, and then do the fun stuff. You know, you don't have to do worksheets every day. Those are the things I added. They're not expensive, or you can get them at the library. The only extra thing I bought for this unit, like I said, was this, and it was like 10 or 12 bucks. But it's something that you can have on hand forever through PDF. You can download it right off Etsy and then print it out, and it's beautiful, and it's gonna work for all your kids. But I hope that this helped you decide if this is a unit that you want to do. I think it's really fun to do something that's just so creative while it's starting to get cold and things like that, where you can just look at all the beautiful animals and the culture and everything that's in Australia and Oceania. So this is what we're doing this month. Like I said, we'll probably be doing this one through November, and I'm going to be doing a fall haul and unit study video of the other oh, she got me, I'm not even kidding, like I bought 3 or 4 of them at once, but of the other little mini unit studies that I want to do with the kids through fall. And that's also another reason that we're going to slow down on this Gather Round unit study, because I just found a lot of fun things I want to do with the kids through fall. So I hope this helped you make a decision. If you have any more questions for me with this unit study or other Gather Round unit studies, or Gather Round questions that you want to know about, link them down below or message me. I am on Instagram at The Perfect Mundane, and I will happily DM you back and let you and just answer your questions if you need that. So I hope that you all have a good day, and I will talk to you soon.